Hi guys, this is Boy 3D here. I am actually very nervous because this is the first time I record a video for you. So I wanted to show you my new model, the ATRT, the walker from the clone era of Star Wars. I did a little bit of pre-painting and pre-assemble of the model before doing this video. I will show you, I will tell you everything I did before when I assembled it. The files are going, the files you get will have a manual with everything very detailed explained, but because there are some things that it's better to explain talking, I made this video for YouTube so I can express it better and help you get a very easy assemble of this awesome kit. This after the ATST, Nathan helped me so much with that project that he said he wanted an ATRT, so I had to make it. I will tell you some things maybe during the assembly, okay? Let's see. I have all the pieces here. I primed them. I put primer with the airbrush and made a little bit of pre-painting, the marbling effect that Nathan in the Discord channel will teach you how to do that. Taught me how to do so. In the big parts, I made a little of pre-marbling because I want to paint this just like I found I was a lot of time thinking, how am I going to print my copy of the ATRT, and I was looking for how do you call them, color schemes on Google. I just googled ATRT color schemes and I ended up finding this one. Okay, let's see if after this I can edit the video and show you the image. This is a picture from some miniatures for the tabletop war game, and man, when I saw this is so cool because I don't have a lot of figures. You know, I love articulated figures, but I have very few. But I have the complete set of the Star Wars Rebel from the animation. So when I saw this, this is so cool. So I'm going to paint my copy like that. I cannot credit the artist who came up with this because it's into a Reddit that I cannot get in. You have to ask for access. I asked, but they didn't let me in yet. So if anyone knows who this guy is, let him know I love his work and I'm going to copy him because it is a beautiful color scheme, really cool, and I love when people do things in Star Wars, you know, mixing and matching and coming up with their own stuff. I love that. So I'm very inspired by this, and it will match with my collection. figures. Okay, let's start. Let's start first with the legs. Okay, I have my set of M2 screws, socket head. These are very tiny. Oh no, this is not the one. Those are other screws. These are my M2 screws right here. We will need different sizes. I have my super glue. This is my mate. It's a crazy thing we drink here in Uruguay. Okay, and my very tiny M2 nylon nuts. M2 nylon nuts. Very tiny. I put you the link to buy them in the manual. Okay, let's start with the legs and the feet. Okay, I have the feet here, and the first piece we'll need is this one right here, the metatarsus, and the ankle ball joint. This one doesn't need to prime because it goes inside. Okay, so this goes like this. I'm going to see what screws do I need. Okay, now let's go in order, just like in the manual. Okay, I changed my mind. I'm gonna follow the order in the manual as much as possible. So let's get the control panel first. Okay, the first one in the manual is the control panel and the handles, which to make the pre-painting, I pasted the control panel here. So let's get the handles. All the 4 handles. Here's the other one. Okay. All the 4 handles. And we need 2 M2 by 8mm screws. Okay. These ones. Here. So we go like this. This is the first one. Like that.
Hey, babe.
And the other one goes like that. Okay. So it was by 12 millimeters. Just like that. So the big one goes on the outside and the small one goes in the inside. The small one goes, let's say, facing back, and the other one on top of it. Let's say the small one has to go under the big one. The big one goes on top of the small one. Okay, let's screw it. You can actually, what I love about designing with screws is that you can actually tune the tension. So if you want it to be looser or tighter, you can do it as you like, because it's a 3D print. It depends on how tuned you have the machine, and then I have both files, but I came up with the problem that sometimes the articulation was too tight and I cannot fit the pieces, or it was too loose, and then it's very floppy, the final result. So what I like about screws is that we avoid that problem, because we are basically teleporting toys via internet. That's really cool, but every printer is tuned differently, so I try to design things that work on every printer, no matter how you have tuned it. And it's very I spend a lot of time adjusting tuning my printer, and then it happens I have to tune my printer just for one thing I want to print. That it's not worth it. So I try to make it easy for you and to have a really nice toy without having to mess with your printer. You just need to have it tuned and working properly, and then my kits will work fine. Okay, the handles are on his place and they articulate independently. You can move the small ones, you can move the big ones, you know, each one of them is independent from one another. Okay, let's keep it. Now the gun mount. I think I'm gonna use this one, the C6. I love this, or the flamer. I don't know which one I like the best. The gun mount is already there, pasted. And which one? The flamer. The flamer or the C6? The flamer. This will be really cool to paint. Okay. If you go for the flamer, then you need the normal gun mount. One right here. Okay. Normal gun mount, because there are two. This one is for the C6 and this one is for the other two weapons, the normal one and this and the flamer. This piece I made the option to assemble it with magnets. But you know, I let the two options just in case you can find magnets near you. You can still assemble with the same screws. Let's get a 8mm and we slide it right there in the hole until it pops out. Let's put the screw. Okay, and you put it right there. Getting in. Okay, it is there. This one can be very loose. I like it loose. I let it like that. And now I think it is a 12. Yes, I will use a at 12 now to assemble the flamer in there. Let's see how tight. Too tight for my taste. Let's loosen it a little bit. Okay, I like that. We are done here. The good thing about assembling it with magnets is that you can switch weapons really easy. This way you have to first disassemble the weapon from the mount and then disassemble the mount. It's a lot of work. So Nathan came up with the idea of using magnets, and I loved it. But because this is the hard way, no, I'm showing it in the video. Okay, what's next? The footrests. One here. Continue with the footrest. Let's see what screws do I need for the footrest. This is 8. I need 2 8s. This one here is a little tricky. This one's why I made the video, because you have to put it like in a diagonal manner. Okay. I think just by holding it with your hand, let's put this facing front like an arrow. This is the one on this side. And just holding the screw with my finger. Okay. Oh, no. It was wrong. The arrow actually goes facing backwards. Just the same, you can actually tune this one to your like. This one is a little tricky, you have to go diagonally, or let's say, oh, this one I can, the first one you can do this, just pass through the hole there. A little bit tighter. Okay. On the final version, I changed this. I put the hole a little up, a little taller. This is a beta version. Do the same with this one. Okay, we have both footrest working. This is getting cooler and cooler. Okay, I have the antenna here, the pistons pre-assembled, and the tanks, these exhaust tanks that go on the sides. Let's take a look at the pistons. I have them pre-assembled. With these ones, I suggest you assemble very loose. This ball here, these are the things that are good for explaining in a video. This one has to be really loose. When you assemble it, this piece in the back, you have to paste it. Okay, so paste it barely without pasting the actual ball here, and try to make it really loose. It has to move freely inside for it to work properly. I screwed up in my version. This one wasn't really loose, so scratched the paint a little bit there, but it will work. Okay, you have detailed instructions on how to assemble this in the manual. Okay, let's go for the antenna. Okay, just a little bit. The big one goes on the back, I think. Yes. The big one goes in the back and the little one in the front. Okay. No, this one's a bit harder. It has a really thin pipe in there. Be careful with that because it's really thin. So let's put 2 drops right there in those 2 holes. And then this little pipe goes just in those 2 holes, and the holes where we use the glue goes into those pipes. Okay. You see those tiny pipes go just underneath this panel, and you have like 2 indents so you can match it perfectly. Let's go with the other one. You don't need to paste it more than this. Just these 2 holes, and that's it. And remember to be careful with the tiny pipes. Okay. Then on the side, it just sits on the side. Another thing I made just for Nathan, because he wanted to be able to paint this more comfortably. So, but you know, I like the dry brush technique very much. So I'm going to paint this after. But if you want to paint this really carefully, you can, and assemble it after you paint it. But I use other techniques that allow for more, let's say, errors and accidents. So I'm going to assemble it now. Okay, let's put the final pieces of the body, that are the big pistons. There are in this kit there are small pistons and big pistons. These are the big pistons. Let's paste them. We will put the glue in this circle, okay, this circle right here is where the contact is going to happen. There is no risk anymore of pasting the actual ball, so we will not worry about that now, but be very careful in the pre-assemble to not paste the ball. Okay. First one is done. Let's go with the second one. Too much. We will clean it. Okay. Second one is there. Okay. And we have the body done. I will let the front panel for the end. Okay, this with the cherry on top. Let's leave it to the end, and let's go for the legs, the feet and the legs now. Okay, while this let it to dry. Okay, let's go for the one of the coolest parts of this kit, which is the legs, the most difficult part and the most fun. Okay, let's grab the femur. This one's the tarsus, inner tarsus and outer tarsus. Let's see which ones match. For this leg will be these two. I will check which screws do I need here. 16. M4 by 16. I'll get two M2 by 16 screws and two nuts. Okay. Let's pass this screw in here. I will do it on one leg only. Okay, it's really hard this. I found that it's best to do it with a screwdriver because the key is too weak, and this has a lot of pressure. You know, the hole is very tight. We need that tightness to assemble this properly. So I ended up fucking this key, very weak, very bad quality. So I'm using this screwdriver now. This is actually a lot better. We will pass these screws all the way. Actually, not all the way. Now I am going to position this one on the other side. Make sure you have the, you know, these tiny ones are for the little piston. So make sure you have the these little ones matching these ones. Okay. I'm having to go back. It's better to for the screw to pass through freely on one side and actually have friction on the other side. So I had to go back a little bit because here is where the magic happens, where you actually get pressure. So this is really tight, and then it can hold the weight of the whole piece, of the whole model. You know, this is a key part. You need these cones to actually make pressure against these female cones, so it gets tight and you can actually play right. You know, we need this to hold the weight of the whole thing. So this part is key. We need this two to really hold tight against the femur. I'm seeing now that you actually don't need the nut so much, but let's use it anyway. Okay, it appeared on the other side. That's cool. That's what we need. Let's get nuts. Let's get a tiny nut. Let's put it right there.
Usa teimosa.
Let's see how it works. It's already working great. A lot of pressure, a lot of stiffness. You know what we need to actually hold the weight of this model. So I'm really happy. It actually didn't go all the way, you know, for it to come out of the nut, but it's okay, because you know the resin actually works like a nylon nut. So we are good. Let's put the metatarsus now. You should match this sphere with this one. Okay, they go to the same size, the same side. Okay, so let's put it carefully there. And let's go with another screw. Maybe I try a 20 here. Yeah. What happens if I have enough space for a 20, but I think it will work better. What should I do? No, too much. Too much. Let's go with the 16 M4 by 6, M2 by 16. I will actually make sure. Make sure if this is a 16. It was not. Okay, this one is a 16. Okay, it's passing. Very nice. It's really tight, but that is exactly what we need. Now, seems like the key is working better than the screwdriver. I don't know why. It actually didn't reach the other side yet. Now we passed one side, and now we need to reach the other one. I'm making sure that I hold this tight until the screw actually reaches the other hole. You know, I want the screw, I want the whole thing to be tight when the screw reaches the other side. I think I'm getting there. Yes. Yeah. Actually, yes. Okay. Found the other side. I'm pressing really hard to not fuck up nor the screw nor the screwdriver. Okay, so I have to really make a lot of pressure. Holding it really tight, otherwise it drifts and I break something or the screw or the screwdriver. Okay, it's there. It's passing through the other side, but it is yet too loose. A little bit of more of pressure. I think we need still a little bit more. You know, when you are tuning this, because it has the special system from rant by 3D, the count system, you screw just a little bit and it makes a lot of friction, more than you will think. Okay, especially when working on these parts, you will give it just a little twist and it changes a lot because of the shape that is in there. Okay, now I twisted just, let's say, 2 degrees, and then it changed a lot, and I love how it's working. Now that I love it, I will make I will put the nut in there just to lock it, lock the position. Okay. I'm not actually, I don't know if it shows, but I'm not reaching the nylon in the nut yet, but there's no problem because the resin, it's actually working like a nylon nut for this. Okay, this is ready. We have a leg. Now we need to put, we need to paste these ones. We need to paste these two pieces between themselves because in another previous test, give me a minute. This is an alpha version. You know, with time they tend to separate, okay, because of course this one and this one are making a lot of pressure to hold the weight, so these two want to separate. Let's avoid that by pasting now, okay, so with time they don't tend to separate, okay. And at the same time we fill the gaps. Let's do this very carefully. We don't want to paste something that is going to move. I'm passing this so there is no excess, and I'm making sure I fill the gaps with super glue. Same thing on the underside. Now I will press there. I'm pressing so both sides really stick and really come together. Sorry for my accent, and if sometimes I speak a little weird, it's because English obviously is not my first language. I speak in Spanish. I'm really making an effort to talk to you guys. Okay, it's there. Both sides are together, and let them sit and here while I paste the other side. For the I was thinking to just pass this, but let's do the other side on the video. But this time I will try to paste the two sides first and assemble after, to see what happens and to see which way is better. First of what I should done first is to check the two sides are really flat, because you have support residue from the printing, and that makes it to create an ugly gap. Okay, I'm going to make a little cleaning here. Yes, there was a little bit of residue from the supports. With the kit, I'm giving you pre-supported files. I made those files really carefully by hand. I did not do an automatic support. I placed each and every support carefully by hand, and I put them as high as in hidden areas of the when you see the model completed. The supports are usually in place you can see, or that have something paste on top. I try to avoid putting supports on visible parts of the model. So right here we have a hidden part, and that are facing each other, so there are support residue there. Okay, let's fix it. I will paste them now. One thing I forgot to mention is I'm doing the Save-On expensive resin version, so these pieces I pre-assemble them. But if you do the other version, the Save-On assemble, you will not have to pre-assemble these ones. These are full pieces. Okay. Pasting this. Yeah, I think this is better. Paste this first. Okay. Yeah. This is actually a lot better. Removing the excess. Okay, I will let this to dry. First. The other method was the okay one. You need to open them too much. Yeah. This doesn't work. Yeah, definitely screw first and paste after. Okay, but I tried. I made it really quick, but I made sure we have the balls on the same side and the tiny slots for the pistons on the same side too. Actually, something to consider. What we can do is paste a mix of the two techniques. Paste this with the pieces inside and then screw. Yeah. That will be the next. Paste this without screwing, and we will screw later. My hands are shaking because I'm very hungry. Okay, I will leave this to dry. I need something so my hands shake a little less. See you in a while. Okay, this is dry. I ate a little. So, summarizing what we learned from assembling the two legs, get the two tarsus interior and tarsus exterior. Okay, put a little paste inside with the metatarsus and the femur already positioned, and then paste both the tarsus interior and exterior, and then we are going for the screws. Okay, I think that's the best way. And you are ready with the cones. You get to, when you press, you get the little holes to align. So we are good to go with the screws. We are using 16s, M2 by 16. Let's get two of these. I think I will get them on the outside. Let's try to start really neat. Okay. Remember, we have to really press, not at the beginning, but as the screw goes through, you need more and more pressure as you go in. Not too much pressure now. Okay, it's starting to get tight. Yeah, definitely this is the way to assemble this. As soon as it reaches the other side, it gets even tighter. This is a key part of the process. This is where all the magic happens. This is where we make sure that the whole thing stands up. I'm going a little back and then a little forward. Okay. Oh my God. These nuts are so tiny, if they fall on the floor, you lose them. Okay, yes. Now, yes. I was a little afraid not getting these two parts to make pressure, but it's going really well. Really well. A lot of pressure, a lot of friction, and by experience, by knowing how much the body weights, I know it will hold. Even so, because you are going to do it for the first time, you will be able to adjust the pressure at any time. Surely what you will do is to assemble this, and once you have the whole thing put together, you will surely need more pressure, I mean, for the thing to really stand up. I'm getting more comfortable with this. on each. You know, the first ones were really hard, but you know, the third one, the fourth one, it gets easier with experience, as everything in life. Like an RPG, life is like an RPG. You get experience and things start to get easier. Okay. More pressure. I didn't even need to put the the nuts in there to get the perfect pressure. But let's put them anyway. So we just lock things in place. The cats at home are not behaving.
Yes, you guessed right, because I just saw that they stole a pate from the garbage can and they ate like what was left of it. And then they fought over it.
No, it was a gift from me. That didn't go well. The nut is in its place. Let's go with the other one. As I told you, I'm not. The screws are not popping out that much, so I cannot actually reach the nylon part of the nuts, but I actually don't care because the actual resin of the M58 Resione resin is working just or better than a nylon nut, and I have this really tight, maybe a little too much. This one is okay. This one, let's give them a few twists. Yeah, that's right. That now it's perfectly okay. We have both legs now. Let's go. Let's make the fingers. Let's finish the feet, and then we put the legs with the feet. So I tell you in the manual, when I started the groundwork and the briefing for this project, right there, Hot Toys announced their ATRT2, and they show the pictures, and that messed with my pride, and I said I have to do better than them. So one thing I came up with was I will make the fingers articulated. So this will be fun. So actually for the fingers we need the shorter ones, M8, M2 by 8 millimeters. These ones I think they can go either way, but let's check first. I have the manual here. Yes, I think they can go either way. Yeah. Let's try to hide the part where there are supports. Just that, but this piece can go one way or the other. It's the same. Mm. Mm. Not really. Okay. If you see this piece, this H-shaped piece, there is actually a bigger gap on one side than on the other. So in order to give the finger more room for articulation, I will put the bigger gap on the fingernail side, and the smaller gap on the actual feet side. And then an 8mm screw. Come on. Matching the holes. Okay, pass through. And I think because I am lazy, I will only put screws on one side. But if you are not lazy like me, you should put 4 screws total. Let's see what happens. This is a little loose, but because this one is really tight, this one doesn't need more, I think. Okay, this is great. Now we have both really tightened up, so you can, yes, you can actually pose the finger. Yeah, and I already made it better than the hot toys, but there is more cool things about this model that are unique and you will not find on any ATRT toy. Okay, I will put together the other finger and then we will keep on. Okay, now we are going with another key part. Really, we're going to be really careful with this, and it's the ankles. This will be, the weight of the thing will have, the whole thing will want to go forward or backwards, and we need this articulation to be really tight. And another thing that I try to make this better than anything you can find out there is give it an ball joint here, so you can really twist the feet side to side, and like the ATST, you can, that's what it gives the whole thing a lot of stability, the ability to twist the feet and to twist the femur, so you can really play with it and get, besides the stability, of course, you also can give it more dynamic poses. So with all that, let's get the screw right here. Actually, I think I will put this screw here. No. Let's go with the screw here and the nut on the other side. This part is hard. This will be maybe the hardest part of the whole build, because we need to pass a really long screw through a really tight and long hole. So this will be, and the piece is really little, so you have to really hold the little ankle tight and make as much pressure as you can. Okay, see, I'm holding the ball right there. I make a really tight fist, and I get the tip of the screw right there, and I will make a lot of pressure. Yeah, this is working. trying to not fuck up the socket of the screw nor the screwdriver. My hands are hurting a little bit. Oh my god. This is really tight. Okay, I finally reached the other side, but there's a lot way to go yet. Getting easier. Okay. Now once it passes, it gets easy. Okay. I did it. Yeah. I did it. Now something. I will actually use I don't know how a washer in English. I will get this. I'll actually use one of these if I can. Really tiny M2 washers. Now we have to go through. Okay. Okay, let me show you how this works. We have the ball, the foot and the leg. Okay, so to make this ankle work, we have to put the leg just in between the ball and the foot. So the ball will make pressure against the feet, capturing the leg inside, and that's where the magic will happen. Now, this whole screw and ball thing is working like a unique, like a single piece. Okay, pass to the other side. I will check the little plate, the thing that covers this, to see if I have enough space. Yeah, I was afraid that if the screw was too long, but I think we are okay. On this one, we will really need a nut in here. I'm giving it a few twists because it wants to move like this freely, but it doesn't want to move like this. So I'm giving it shape. I'm like giving it the shape by moving it. Yeah, you definitely want to do that. You will put a washer in there, and on this one we'll definitely need the nut. To make that pressure, because we need so much pressure on this one that the resin only will not work. You'll need the strength of the steel in the nut to really get too much pressure. Okay, yeah, now it's working. Finger is too loose. Okay, now it's nearly there with the ankle. Remember, the ankle is one of the most important articulations, one of the most difficult. And maybe the the most important for the whole for the whole thing to work. Made to my pressure and broke it, but no problem, because this one I made with the cheap resin, and you know the cheap resin is very I don't know how to call it in English, very stiff. It usually breaks. It's a low quality resin. If you are in the USA and you have access to high quality resins, I suggest you use those. Okay, let's but here in Uruguay, you know, it's very hard to get things. I have to actually buy my resins on USA, and through a courier service I get them here in Uruguay. It's very expensive to get them here. I can only get, if I need resin tomorrow, I only can get low quality resin at the price of a good quality resin. So I try to save on special resins as much as I can, but I'm paying the price now. Let's go with the other. I will make the work before. I will give it shape before, so I can avoid that break. So this hardening, man. Okay. This one goes pretty well. I'll do the complicated screw right now. Okay, I pause this. You just saw how hard this one is. I'm gonna do it and come back later. Okay, I passed the screw in the ball joint. Now I'm going to pass it through the leg and through the foot. Actually putting in practice what I learned from the other leg, and then giving some twist, especially sideways, so we don't have problems later. washer. The tiny net. Just giving some good twist to this, because as I told you, I used a cheap resin for this part, and you know what, I was going to include, I mentioned it before in this video, I was going to include a save on special resins option for these parts, but now that I try them, I think it is not worth. I think because this piece is so important. It's so much better if this was only one piece. We need this to work flawlessly. We need to be able to, to move this and apply force to this part. So I'm going to discard that save on special resin option. It's not worth to save on special resin for this part. We need to use, and the other part I was saving on special resin was this one. I think this neither. I think, what the hell, let's use a good resin for the legs. We still save a lot of resin in the big parts of the foot, in the body, in the front body part. I still make sure, shit, told you, it's not worth to use a cheap resin on this. The cheap resin does not hold the whole pressure of this working as it should. I'm really pissed off right now. You know, I envy so much you guys living in the USA. You can just go on Amazon and buy Razione. I have to wait like a month at least to get a bottle of resin. And getting 1 kilo of anything from USA to Uruguay, it's not cheap. It's like $50. So I have, for 1 kilo of good quality resin, I end up spending like 110, give it or take. So I would love to have some Resione quick and cheap on my hands. So I don't have to do these cheap things. Yeah. Yes. You definitely want to print this part in a good res. Definitely. Okay. Now we're going to assemble the legs with the hip part. We will have to do 2 more of these ball joints with screws. Those are hard, but it is worth. We need to, I could make this hole bigger so you can pass the screw easily, but I think it is not worth because they would be wiggle, and we need for this to work really tight. So I think it's not worth. If you still want to try, you can get a 2 millimeter, I don't know how it's called, 2 millimeter thingy to make holes, and just make the hole bigger and make it easy for you, but I do not suggest it. You can try. Okay, so let's check what screws we need here. We need 16 screws. I mean M2 by 16. The whole thing again. Okay. If this is hard to, it will not be so hard because the whole thing is bigger. It's easy. Actually not that hard. Yeah, this one was not that hard. Really easy. It's there. The other one. Same deal. Seems like this one is really easy. I'm surprised. no problem at all. Don't know why, because this is model exactly the same way. I mean, digitally model, the whole should be exactly the same. Maybe something in the print and process, I don't know. Maybe shrinkage of the resin part. You know, the parts you print on resin tend to change a little with time. I printed this days ago. I let it sit there just in case. Now we are put the ball shine right there. Let's check. This one has a key right there. Let's check where it goes on the body. Okay, the key goes facing forward. Okay, the little key here goes facing forward, the same as the feet. Let's put it right there. Okay. Now, right there, to right there, we need to put the tiny nut. You actually have room. You see this, even this screw is not as thin as it can be. I can actually put it diagonally and still have room to screw that nut. Getting rid of thing that is powdering there is the actual paint. primer actually. Okay. Okay, the other one. Getting the ball into the socket. The nut. Just the tip. we have the legs already assembled. Now it's just a matter of getting the whole thing together, just paste the body right there. Alright guys, I was testing for a while, for a long time, the articulations that I ended up with, and you know, I would call this a honest assembly, because to be true, I was having a lot of trouble getting the tilt, which I think it's something awesome about this build, is that you can actually tilt the legs and the feet. Let's see if this one works. You can see, you can actually tilt the feet, which is awesome for stability, you know. You can actually give it a little twist, which helps a lot for the model to adapt to the floor and get a really nice stability. This is something I learned with making the ATRT. It was all the difference, you know. So what was happening right before I ended the tighten of the trunk chatter here, I mean the hip articulation and the ankles, was that I was getting a very nice rotation, but it was really hard to get it to tilt, right? So that was what caused, besides the bad quality of the resin here, what caused the breakage. The break was that I forced it to tilt, so I ended up breaking it. But what I did was I got a little of machine oil. This is aceite, is oil in English. It's a really thin, very thin oil, good quality oil. Is the oil I use for my sewing machine. You know, I do some 1/6 scale clothes and that, so I have this for my sewing machine. I really don't know what you use on USA. Sorry, I can't recommend you something, but maybe in the Discord channel we will get the answer for that. And what I did is I got this old and screwed up brush that I had, and I just loosened these ball joints a little bit, the one in the hip and the one in the ankle. These ones do not need, because these are just flat, but these ones with rotation, I just loosen them a little bit, and just to get a little allowance there, a little gap, just enough, just less than 1 millimeter, just that you can put just a drop of oil in there, and a little right there too, because as you know, this piece is trapped inside two pieces, so there are three two sides of contact there. So just with the oil, now it works great. It still you get more rotation than tilt, but actually the rotation is what stops the whole thing to fall off. So this is where it comes the art of really tuning this. Okay, we need to tighten this up so it doesn't fall front or behind, but at the same time we need it to be not so tight that you can't actually take advantage of the rotation, because the rotation is what really give its life, and it's what make it the best ATRT model out there. It is better than the Hot Toys one. It is more dynamic, it's more stable, it adapts best to the floor of your photo set or your whatever you want to do. This is really cool because let's put something on the floor here, just a random piece, and you can actually make really crazy things with this. I'm really happy now with this assembly. It wasn't that easy, but it was fun. Now let's get to the really cool part. We are going to put all this together. As we did previously, we have the body. Let's just put a bit of glue there. Be careful with the oil, especially if you didn't paint it yet or you have a pre-paint like me. Be careful because if you get oil on other parts, then you won't be able to keep painting. Unless you are using some kind of paint, I don't know. I think also in my previous versions this was working really well. Maybe the primer, I wasn't careful enough to really put some tape on the ball joints, and I sprayed primer on it. Maybe that's what was making this whole mess. I don't know. I think it really helps even better if this works well without the primer. A little bit of oil can help anyway. It solved my problem. I'm really happy. I was really scared. After all this work, it's been really months and months of modeling, testing, sending files to Nathan for him to test, working on the manual, working on the text for the campaign. It's been crazy. I have lots of help from Nathan, a friend who is a graphic designer will help me with the manual, but my wife is helping me with the text for the manual and for the campaign, and but everything else, the modeling, the renderings, the images for the assembly manual, you know, the selecting of the screw, putting all the information together. You know, it's been really months of work for you to have this awesome piece on your collection. I mean, you can even make this is really an army builder vehicle, you know. For you guys that have, you know, I always see how many lots of figures you have, you know, that's so awesome. And I think most of you having access to buy resin, and I think you guys will be really happy making lots of copies for this. Okay, this is, oh my god, what's now? Okay, we need to let that really dry before we keep on. I will put a little more. Okay, let's be generous. I will let this sit and really dry for me to explain the next part, which is connecting the pistons to the legs, and that will be really fun. You'll see how this is really cool, how this works is really cool. Okay, I mean, it was a lot of work also on making sure these pistons work really well. You know, this thing really was designed for animation, was designed for video games and for movies, so it sometimes it has not to really work like a real life thing. So, you know, most clone era designs, sometimes when you take to real life, you have to make it, okay, it will move or it will be screen accurate. So you have to make that decision. But I work really hard to not have to make that decision. Okay, I wanted it to really be screen accurate and to work at the same time, and it does, and I'm so happy about that, so proud about that, because now you later will see how it really works. And what else? I think that's all for now. I will let it dry, and then we will connect this thing and get to the really fun part. Okay, now it's dry, and we'll get to the really interesting part, that is the pistons. As I told you, this was a lot of work and I love it. So see that there's a little hole in there, a long hole. It has a bigger part on the back. So what you do is you get this little ball in there. You need to position this so that it actually reaches. You'll see that that's what gives the femur piece a limit of movement. Then as soon as the little ball of the piston has enough space, it's all happening here. As soon as you have at reach, you put it there, and then you slide it. Will actually slide right there. See, I slide it, and now we have more range of movement. We can actually see, and this is what I love. You can actually move it freely. You can still twist the femur. You get all the movement, and it magically works. I love this part. Now let's go with the other one. Not there yet. I need to move it a little more. See if you can actually it's there. It's sliding. Work it carefully. The more near to the actual the actual hip you pose it, the more you get free of movement for this whole piece. I like to put it as much on front as I can, so then I can really move this and make it tall. But you know, now we have the pistons in place, and this is really cool. As you can see, it holds the weight really well, doesn't fall, it stays firm in the pose you made it, but still you can make crazy poses with it. You can actually compensate the tilt you make in the hip right here. You can compensate on the foot just to give that stability and make the foot feet flat on the floor. So, is that on the Hot Toys version? I don't think so. So Render Boy 3D always giving you the best possible 3D models, so you can brag about your models with other collectors. And we are making 3D printing really worthy, okay? With 3D printing and Render Boy 3D kits, you can actually get better things than if you buy them. Okay, now the magic of cones. I love cones. I use them for lots of things, and now we are going to position this without any glue or anything, because you can, it just sits right there. You press it a little bit and it stays. The cool thing about this, if you need the after to tighten the joints, you can do, because the as I told before, the resin printed resins tend to shrink a little with time, so we can always adjust that. This one was printed, that has been printed for weeks, but you never know. This one also, this little plate right here, no need to paste it. Right then, if you want later to adjust, you get just a Sharpie tool in there and you get it off. Here's the other one. Right there. For these ones, there was not enough room for me to keep it screen accurate and make the same mechanism at the same time. I don't think, I made it as much cone as possible, but I don't think it will hold it like the other ones. But I think there's something you guys in the USA use, I don't know how it's called, ask on the Discord, something you can actually put it there and it's not permanent but still gets it in place. I think I'll use just a tiny little bit of super glue, but it's risky because we want always to have the option to adjust later. Now the final part, let's paste the front piece and we are done. Now comes the fun part of posing, photograph, really having fun. I put as little as possible, just in case, just barely enough. Ready to paste. Right there. Okay, it's finished. It's done, except for this little parts. I don't have that material available in Uruguay. I'll ask to Nathan in the Discord or other guy there's always people on that Discord. It's amazing. Another cool thing about buying a 3D model, we invite you to the Discord channel. If you don't buy, we also invite you to the channel, and there's cool people, good people, 24/7, willing to help, willing to talk about Star Wars, willing to talk about printing, helping with anything you need. Sometimes I get feedback, because the first feedback I get is from Nathan, who is a beta tester, photographer, and ideologue for this model. But after I launched the model, sometimes there are other ideas, problems we did not think about, and so I'm always listening to you, listening to your feedback, making modifications, uploading the updates. So you join the Discord and you get actually updates for the models. Sometimes there are cool ideas too. If I find it cool, I do them. Recently, a guy wanted to add lights to the ATST. Sorry, I made channels and things to get the wires and stuff like that. Okay, this is all. Next, I am going to make, once this one settles, I will make a review of all the articulations. Thanks, guys. Sorry, lazy me, I forgot to actually install the small piston. I'll do it now. Final touch. Just go with M2 by 8 mm screws. Some people also like to use just a little bit of plastic there. You can if you want to. Being careful because I used cheap resin for this part, but you don't have to. You can actually print this whole piece in good quality resin, and you avoid being scared in this part like me. I have the piston pre-assembled. You will get the instructions for that in the manual. Okay, I have this pre-assembled. You can see the detail on the manual. This actually has sides. The female part goes under and the male part goes on top. 8mm screw. They actually make it easier with this. It's done. This actually gives limits to the movement, but we have to be loyal to the original design. You can move it. It has pretty much freedom. The only limit I don't like is this, but it is what it is. Okay, it's like it's screen accurate. Let's say. Let's go with the other one. And I put this one, and it's just like that one, and it's on. Thanks so much, guys, for being there. Thanks to everyone who buys my kits, who says nice things, who speaks, lets me know how much you enjoy my kids. You know, that makes me so happy when you guys write to me and tell me, wow, it was so cool, you know. That makes me so happy, man. Thanks so much, and have fun.